Alright everybody, what's going on? Ninja from above here, aka a madman. Today's story is about ghosts. We're going to be talking about ghosts today in this theoretical Thursday. If they're real, what they come from, where they come from. It's actually pretty funny to like listen to everybody's perspective on like where ghosts actually come from. There's certain people that seem to think ghosts are actually spirits that walk around the earth after death. There's also the theory that demons are the ones who are the ghosts who visit from an alternate dimension, which is a whole nother segue that we'd have to talk about in another episode. So the ghosts that I'm going to talk about are the theoretical ghosts, the ones that everybody thinks exist. So when you die, obviously your body, depending on what religion you actually pay attention to, or what religion that you are, even if you're not even part of a religion, I guess, depending on if you believe in ghosts, is the one that we walk around the earth, kind of like in limbo when we die. So, I'll talk to you guys a little bit about my experiences with ghosts, because I actually have a few, which is kind of crazy, considering I really didn't want them to happen. So, I'll go to my first one. I believe in ghosts, first of all. I'll come right out and say that, because obviously I do. When I was 12 years old, I was sitting in we had this closet that was set up next to my siblings' room, and that's where we would sit, and we had a television on one side, and we had a television on another side. The one television was for my old PlayStation, and on the opposite side was for like movies, DVD, well, VHS. And the one day I was playing Sims in the City. And I don't know what hit me, but I didn't have anything playing on the other screen. It was just the black screen that whenever you turn off your television, there's nothing playing on it. And I looked over to the left. Something just pulled me towards it. So I looked to the left, and I saw a white figure standing next to me in the door frame. And of course, I was very nervous as a young man. So I turned back to the right and acted as if I didn't see it, because I was like, holy crap, that's kind of strange. Well, I looked back to the left, again, for some reason, and as I looked back to the left, the figure knelt down and put its right hand on my left shoulder, and I got really, really scared. So I bust through the opposing door on the opposite side of this tiny little box room, and I ran upstairs, and obviously as a young human, I was looking for Mom. So yeah, I was very terrified of that, and that was I think that was my first experience that I actually had with the paranormal. The next time, obviously there was few between that where like I went to a sanitarium with a video camera and actually caught what's it called, EVP, the voice phenomenon. I caught voice on the recording on the video camera from inside of someone like shaking a bed, and then somebody saying to get out, and we even saw a figure down one of the hallways that we were going down. You know how kids are. we just were trying to do something stupid, and yeah, it was terrifying because I was the first one to spot it out. Because as we were walking, we could actually hear the bed springs going off in one of the cells. And as soon as we got to that cell to look inside, there was nothing there, and it stopped. And that was, yeah, that one was pretty creepy. And then after that, of course, I used the whole tape recorder thing in one of my buddy's houses, where we heard a whisper for somebody told us to stop. So that freaked me out as well. So I've always had a very understanding relationship with the paranormal, because I'm like, I don't want anything to do with this anymore, at least now. Before, at the time, obviously I was pushing my luck. So the second one that actually stuck out to me a lot was when me and a couple of my buddies were at the sanitarium. That was the second one. The third one was when I was actually at my father's house or his farm. I lived in a room that had been attached to the house, and the room was newly installed, if you want to put it that way. It was put on the house later on, probably around the 90s. So it was there would have been no one in the room prior to this. The problem was, me and my brother shared the room. He slept in one bed on the one side of the room, I slept on the other bed on the opposite side. And one day I was sleeping facing the wall, and I heard something. And when I heard it, I was confused, because I was like, what the hell is that? It was like a humming almost. And I turned around. And when I turned around, I saw a little kid, playing in the middle of the floor in between the two beds where me and my brother slept. And I looked at it for about 30 seconds, and it turned its head and looked at me, which is when I got terrified and actually turned around and threw the covers over my head and just was hoping that I would go to sleep. I was just hoping that I would go to sleep for a while. And I did. I went back to sleep, obviously. But since then, I've honestly, I told myself, listen, I want nothing to do with it. Please, I don't want to be a medium. I don't want to be contacted. No, like, I don't want to be the guy that sees them. I don't want that. So, I later on found out, actually 6 years later, because I can't remember how old I was at the time, but about 6 to 8 years later, I found out that there was actually a child that died in the room right next to that room, in that house, in like the 1940s. And that's when it actually hit home that I was like, okay, nope, don't want nothing to do with it, can't, don't want it. So yeah, I do believe in ghosts because of all my experiences. I know a lot of people don't really believe in ghosts because obviously they haven't had the same experiences, or even an experience in their own. But I tend to, not want anything to do with it, because you ever like do something and you could feel something's there, or you feel like someone's around, that's when it becomes the most relevant to me, that I'm like, okay, there might be something here, and if there is, I really don't want anything to do with it. So if we just leave each other alone, we'll be straight. I know that sounds crazy. Everything that I say always sounds crazy. That's why I do these podcasts, because you guys are so infatuated with how my mind is crazy. Anywho, moving forward from that story, Uh, I don't know about the dimensional ghosts that everyone talks about, or like the different. I do believe in different planes of existence. So like the demons that come from the one plane to the other to another plane. I think that may be something that actually exists or is realistic. But I'm not for sure. Obviously, there's a theory that aliens come from another dimension as well. Like they have some type of spaceship or something that can cross through planes of existence into a different parallel universe. I don't technically believe in all that, because I believe we all share one universe. I mean, obviously I believe in different dimensions, but I don't think there's anything created just yet that can transpire through different dimensions. Demons and angels, obviously, I believe they can, if they wanted to, switch over planes or universes. I do believe that they could do that. I don't think that that's actually happening, but I know that there's a lot of theories that implement that. So yeah, ghosts, in my opinion, you guys might have your own opinion, I don't know, it's really up to you guys, are here on the same plane. It's just that they're unseen, they're unknown, they can be contacted, they can be, talked to. I wouldn't suggest doing it, because you could let something else in through like a Ouija board or whatever. I've never used one. I refuse to use a Ouija board because of all the I actually had a friend a while, well, I don't even want to say that. It was an acquaintance that used a Ouija board, and I believe it was they opened it wrong or something along the sort. They opened it wrong, and I think it was within like a few years. I think it was 5 or 6 people. I can't remember. I had heard the story years ago. 5 or 6 people ended up dying within the 5 years after they had opened, and they were young, so it wasn't like natural causes or anything like that. Within 5 years of opening the Ouija board the wrong way and getting contacted by something on the other side. So yeah, I try to stray away as much as I possibly can from things like that. I don't like to mess with the supernatural, and I don't advise anybody else to. Yes, as a kid I was stupid. I would do those things. I would do the recording. I would ask if anyone's there, which was not a smart move, but I refuse to do it now. Yeah. So anyway, let me know you guys' thoughts, and maybe I'll comment on some of you guys' thoughts in the next episode before we start off the actual recording of next week's Theoretical Thursday. I believe next week we will end up talking about I think I want to start talking about, I just had it too, I can't remember what it was. It went off of this. I can't remember. Well, anyway, see, my mind, it rambles and it goes other places. So I'm gone. I'll see you guys in the next episode, in the next rambling of a madman, guys. I'm gone. Goodbye.